Hello friends, this video comes to you a little later than I had promised. Life has lived me this week. If you're tuning in here, it's either because you've found this channel searching for metastatic cancer or terminal cancer information. My name is Leslie Bolus, and this channel is Cancer Confessions. I'm currently in the process of filming a 3-part series that will take place over the next month. This particular video will be covering the treatment for metastatic breast cancer, Xeloda and Taxol, or rather, I'm sorry, Avastin and Taxol. I am a 4+ year thriver with metastatic breast cancer. I've been on 3 different treatment protocols for this, but 4 cancer treatment protocols total over the span of my breast cancer diagnosis. But the majority of those cancer treatments have been used for metastatic breast cancer treatment. I had asked you to tune back in this week and promised you that I would talk about this Avastin and Taxol treatment. I'm using my notebook, my trusty notebook here, because I want to make sure I cover all the points. Let me get out of the way my pre-metastatic breast cancer history. I did have right breast cancer in the 2000-2001 years. I received 5 FU and 33 radiation treatments to put me in remission and declare me free of cancer. I'm going to be switching back and forth hands as I film this. My right arm has a lot of lymphedema in it, and I lose feeling in my fingers. So I want to start by talking about when I was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer. I was diagnosed in April of 2010 and began my treatment for this metastatic breast cancer in May. The initial treatments were delivered by infusion through a port, which I have here. This is my second port that I've had in the past 5 years. The first one was a double port, a power port that I had to have removed 6 months in because I developed some little fiber growths that sheaths that prevented flow back and flow out. So the Avastin Taxol treatment is delivered by infusion. It causes a whole host of side effects, and there will be some that I don't mention here, but I'm only mentioning to you the ones that I experienced. I lost my hair about 21 days into treatment. It was falling out in chunks, so I shaved the remainder off. And wigs did not really work out for me. I lived in Texas. It was quite hot, so they were itchy and uncomfortable and didn't look like me, so I stopped using them. The side effects that I experienced were really awful. I experienced horrible nausea that caused vomiting and migraine-like headaches. I was hospitalized several times due to dehydration from this treatment. I had diarrhea. I experienced excessive lower back pain around my kidneys, which is a side effect. The treatment does affect your kidneys, so lower back pain is really very common with it. Also because of how they derive the Avastin, it can cause allergic reactions. So I had to prior to treatment, and if you are on this protocol, you will probably as well, prior to taking Taxol and Avastin, have to take steroids, which gives you a lot of lack of sleep and also causes a lot of puffiness. It did cause me to have neuropathy in my hands and my feet, and all of these side effects cause other things. The pain in my kidneys over a period of time was causing some kidney damage. One of the side effects of Avastin Taxol is that it can cause you to have high blood pressure, which it did cause me to have. And because of the neuropathy, I had to take medication to help me stimulate blood flow and be able to have feeling in my hands and my feet. Because of the high blood pressure, I had to take medication for blood pressure, and because of the puffiness and water retention from taking the steroids to treat possible allergic reaction, I had to take water pills or diuretics. So in addition to taking chemo, I had to take steroids, water pills or diuretics, high blood pressure medication, and neuropathy medicine. Also, it is not uncommon for women and men, because men also get metastatic breast cancer and breast cancer, that you're going to experience pain, whether you decide to take chemotherapy or just live with the pain that the cancer causes. So I was taking quite a bit of medication to help me function daily for the pain while I was on this medication. My cancer, my metastatic breast cancer, is in my hips, my lungs, my chest wall right here, my arm. During my treatment for the initial treatment with the Avastin and Taxol, I received radiation to my arm to treat certain spots and help with the pain. It didn't help. It initially did, but then the pain came back and it got worse. So I covered this, that I had the edema, but it was really uncomfortable having the edema. It antagonized or intensified the neuropathy. So whenever you're on any medication or any treatment for any illness, you have to really be aware of what the side effects are and then what the treatments are for the side effects. It can become quite a snowball effect of medications and treatments for side effects, and then the side effects that the treatment for the side effects cause. It's really intense. I'm not a doctor, but I am a patient, and I've learned a lot about certain treatments as I've gone through the whole chemotherapy, living with metastatic breast cancer situation. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I am going to be celebrating my 5th year of being a cancer thriver or a metavivor, and that anniversary will be March 28th. So, yeah. Covering all of the different side effects that I experienced while on Avastin, it really culminated in a point where my kidneys were failing. I was developing other cancer sites in addition to my initial diagnosis cancer sites, and the medication was just no longer working. This happened about 2 years into treatment, and at that point I was in the middle of a move from one state to another, which meant that I was in between oncologists, and I had developed a tumor on the outside of my aorta, which is, of course, the heart. As I moved, going off of the Taxol, any medication that you're on for a prolonged period of time, and I was almost at the 2-year mark of taking this medication, it builds up in your system. It takes a while to work out. So when I moved from Texas to Knoxville, Tennessee, I got a new oncologist. We ran tests and we determined that this not only was no longer working for my cancer, but it was killing me. So I changed to Xeloda, which is the medication that I will be talking to you about next week. I will upload a video on Tuesday, or actually I will film it on Tuesday and upload it on Wednesday. So if you have any questions about the medication Xeloda, please feel free to ask me on Twitter, Facebook, or email me on my website. Everything that you can find me social media-wise is looking for Leslie Bolus Cancer Confessions or Leslie Bolus The Beautiful Life. My Facebook is Leslie Bolus, my Twitter is Leslie Bolus, and at Cancer Confessions you can leave comments, or on YouTube, which is Leslie Bolus, you can leave comments. So if you have questions or comments about the Xeloda Taxol regimen, feel free to leave those in the comments. But please ask me your questions about Xeloda, and I will include them in the video next week. I really appreciate you stopping by to view this channel and to hear what my treatment was. To really summarize it, if I could go back in time and give myself advice, I would tell myself that it's going to be okay, that I'm going to have a longer life than they're telling me, that I'm going to break the 3-year barrier and live longer. I would also tell myself that the Avastin Taxol treatment is pretty dang brutal, and that a quality of life is more important than quantity if you're not living well during the quantity. So I would go back and tell myself to ask the doctor to give me cancer treatments that don't have a lot of side effects and don't make me lose my hair, because I'm vain and having my hair makes me feel womanly and human and better about myself, and allow me to live in this world where people look at others who have cancer and they can identify them quite clearly by the fact that they don't have hair. So it may be the right treatment for you, but I really advise you strongly to ask your doctor a lot of questions about the side effects, and to ask them a lot of questions about the treatments for side effects. I was on it for quite a long time, probably longer than the average person who goes through this sort of treatment. And it was effective because I'm still here. So it all worked out for me, but I would never go on it or any treatment like it. Right now, I'm on treatments that allow me to live a whole lot better because they're not infusions. So I strongly recommend that you ask your doctor a lot of questions. And if you have any questions for me about the experience, feel free to leave those in the comments or questions. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for stopping by Leslie's Cancer Confessions. Bye, folks.